Here with Todd Stashwick and Dennis Calero, the writers, creators, and star, ironically, of a comic book called Devil Inside. So what is Devil Inside about?
What it's about is the devil has a crisis of conscience and he quits. He blasts out of hell and he goes on the lam in the Nevada desert, and he's trying to run from the forces of hell that are trying to drag him back. If he doesn't use his powers, he can't show up on hell's radar, and it makes eluding them easier. But that is not an easy thing to do when you're a creature of habit for millennium. He's trying to keep it all together. So he's a man caught between what he was and what he wants to be. And he also has this very kind of cool, sexy sidekick, Sophie, who's running from demons of her own. And it's an action, horror, adventure serial that we do once a week on my website.
It's also very funny.
It's funny, and it's violent, and it's exciting, and it's existential. And
now, what's the origin of Devil Inside? Which one of you kind of came up with the idea? How did the genesis of the project?
It was sort of synergy. Is that a word?
I wish it wasn't.
I was on a show called Heroes on NBC, and the way they introduced my character was through the Heroes online webcomic. So the character first premiered there before they put it on TV, and Dennis was the artist who drew that comic, and I thought that was pretty cool to see myself, being a comic book fan, to see myself represented in comic book form. We're both fans of anti-heroes, sort of Breaking Bad and Dexter, and we're both fans of genre shows, and so I said I had this idea, being a guy that plays villains all the time, about taking the villain and making it the protagonist, and so I had this idea of the devil having a crisis of conscience, and then what sort of hell would break loose if he went on the lam in the desert. And then he yes-anded that idea, and we together extrapolated and built the world and the cosmology,
right. And
then this was '09, and then we just kept building it and working on it, and then released it for Comic-Con 2010. So we're coming up on the first year anniversary of the comic strip.
Like being drawn.
It's phenomenal. My joke is keep your Emmys. I get to be in a comic book. I mean, like I said, I came up reading comics, and I thought that was to see yourself as a comic character. It's like, you know, it's a dream come true.
And where can they find the comic if they want to watch it?
You can go to www.toddstashwick.com, and there's a link on the front page.
You'll probably see right here at the bottom of the screen a link to the comic.
So you'll have to put it right there.
You'll have to put it right there.
Don't move.
And you can also see us. We'll be at Comic-Con 2011 this year. Come visit us in Artist's Alley, and he'll draw you a picture.
I will.